Ah, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Ah, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Ah, what we got here today? Hello there. How y'all doing today? So, Boeing 777. This is Earth Talk 777 Studios and Broadcasting. But back to you, Boeing 777. I think that was 3 of them. So, we just fly airplanes on fire. We just leaking hydraulic fluid. People out here committing suicide? Whoa. All right then. Well, y'all know what I'm gonna say. Come on. Come on. Let's get to it. Where's Andy? Where Andy at?
Hey, what about Andy?
I tell you, he been hiding in the cut. Yo, this joint ready already though. Man, this like playing the game of Clue. Yo, so what y'all know about going hard, living in the boulevards, trying to make ends meet? We getting off the streets, flying high, the sky got no limit. Well, y'all know how it goes, you know what I'm saying? As the world turns, I don't know, we keep on turning. I don't know. But yeah, so Boeing, this guy, he committed suicide. So we about to find out what's going on. Now Earth Talk 77, we got it. So, we about to get into it. And we're going to keep y'all updated and posted, you know what I'm saying? So we all can find out what's going on because this kind of affect the whole planet, So come on, y'all. Let's get right into it, man. All right, so here we go. Let's just jump right in it.
Focus for investigators. Terrifying nosedive off New Zealand that injured dozens. Passengers say the LATAM pilot claimed he suddenly lost control of the Boeing 787 when the flight data computers went dark. In 2016, the FAA issued an airworthiness directive for the 787, warning that if the flight control computers are not reset every 22 days, they could shut themselves down, which could result in flight controls that don't respond and a temporary
I'm not trying to be funny, but that sounds like some AI problems. No, all right, let me stop. Let me go back. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me stop. I'm trying. It's not funny because people out here losing their lives, and a lot of people out here kind of terrified right now. That's not a joke. That's not a game.
The focus for investigators. That terrifying nosedive off New Zealand that injured dozens. Passengers say the LATAM pilot claimed he suddenly lost control of the Boeing 787 when the flight data computers went dark. In 2016, the FAA issued an airworthiness directive for the 787, warning that if the flight control computers are not reset every 22 days, they could shut themselves down, which could result in flight controls that don't respond and a temporary loss of controllability.
Investigators will look at whether the airplane was completely depowered at one point in the last 3 weeks.
Meanwhile, 2 months since that mid-air MAX 9 emergency, sources close to the investigation say Boeing has failed 33 of 89 FAA audits. The FAA confirming it identified non-compliance issues in Boeing's manufacturing
process. That's a lot, right? 33? If you failed 33 times as an airplane company or whatever, that's a lot. That's a lot of mistakes. You should be more... I don't think you should... You should have maybe one a year by accident.
All parts handling and storage and product control.
If we see something that requires us to cease production or pull something down, we'll do that.
In an email, Boeing's chief of commercial planes today called on every employee to precisely follow every step of our manufacturing procedures and processes. While in South Carolina, a coroner says former Boeing whistleblower John Barnett took his own life before his upcoming trial against the company. In 2019, Barnett told NBC News Boeing was putting profits ahead of safety.
From day one, it's just all been about schedule and hurry up and just get it done, push the planes out.
In a statement, Boeing says we are saddened by Mr. Barnett's passing and our thoughts are with his family and friends. Under intense scrutiny, the company today called on every employee to be on the lookout for safety or quality issues and speak up.
That's crazy.
John Barnett, a former Boeing employee and whistleblower, was found dead in his truck at a Charleston hotel on Saturday, March 9th. According to the BBC, Barnett was a Boeing employee until 2017. Barnett, who regularly voiced his concerns about problems at Boeing, had been in Charleston for legal interviews regarding failed tests of the emergency oxygen systems for Boeing 787 Dreamliners. The BBC reported that the Charleston County coroner confirmed the cause of death was a self-inflicted wound. Though Barnett worked for Boeing for more than 3 decades, only the last few years of his career were spent in Charleston. This location in South Carolina is where Boeing's final assembly line, or FAL, for the Dreamliners is located. Barnett was a quality manager for the 787 program, and during his tenure, he raised several concerns with management which were ignored. This led to the manager becoming a whistleblower. The point at which Barnett brought his first of many concerns to Boeing is unknown, and the order in which they were brought about is also unclear. However, in 2019, Barnett told the BBC that due to pressure on some employees, parts that were not up to standard were still being installed on the 787s. He claimed that the problem started shortly after work began in South Carolina, and he felt that the process was unsafe and rushed. The manufacturer denied some of his concerns, but a Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, review proved Barnett right on some accounts. A 2017 review confirmed that the locations of at least 53 non-conforming parts were unknown.
I thought it was 33.
This was not Barnett's only concern.
Well, they've 33 inspections, and they messed up 53 parts. I don't know. Ooh, I got it. Dang.
During his work, he found that 25% of tests performed on the emergency oxygen systems on the 787s failed. Boeing confirmed it had received some oxygen bottles from the supplier that did not deploy properly and added that none of these had been installed on its aircraft. At the time of his death, Barnett had been in Charleston with his and Boeing's attorneys in a long-time legal battle with his former employer. Barnett filed a defamation lawsuit after retirement, claiming Boeing harmed his career because he voiced the problems he encountered. Boeing denied this and was going head-to-head with him. Last week, Barnett was in a deposition where he was questioned by Boeing's legal team and then cross-examined by his own legal counsel. On Saturday, March 9th, when Barnett failed to show up for further questioning, his attorneys tried to contact him but could not. Barnett was then found with self-inflicted wounds inside of a pickup truck at his hotel. Most recently, Barnett spoke to TMZ about his concerns with the 737 MAX 9 following the incident where a door plug blew out on an Alaska Airlines flight. He claimed that the number of inspectors
Could
on
you
assembly
imagine
lines
being on an airplane and you sitting? What if you sitting right next to that door? You don't even gotta be sitting next to the door. You know, if you watch the movies and stuff like that, when that airplane, when them doors blow open, poof, or the side of an airplane, if it blow open or whatever, people fall out of there like the wind and just suck them out. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's man. I can't. Hey, man, y'all airliners, man, y'all air companies, y'all got to get this right, man. Because people are really, the world's already crazy. Come on, man. Like I said, man, on TikTok, you see on TikTok and stuff like this, some of them videos that I've been saying that people don't believe in them and stuff. They be like, oh, TikTok videos be fake, or just conspiracy theories and all this stuff like that. Man, there's a lot of stuff going on with them airplanes. They on fire, people fighting on them. Why you fighting and stabbing and beating people up on a damn airplane for? You 35,000 feet in the air. Man, these folks is... Boy, I tell you, some people just
reduced towards the end of his career and suspected that it had continued to happen even after his retirement. Our thoughts go out to Mr. Barnett's family and friends in the wake of his passing. In addition to our daily YouTube videos, Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles every week. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com.
There y'all go.
Chaos inside the cabin after a technical problem on board
So
this
yeah,
Boeing
so besides, the suicide, they said the door flew open. After the door flew open, they still got more problems. Like this stuff is updated. This is like today's stuff. They had one this morning. I think the one with the, man, look, man.
7 Dreamliner caused it to suddenly drop.
Someone quite badly injured over that side.
Boy, that's got to be terrifying.
It was a horror movie scene. I saw people flying to the roof and then going down to the floor.
The free fall of Flight LA 800 saw 50 passengers and crew injured, and everyone left terrified.
People
you see their faces
inside the plane. There's a few people that were cut, lots of people that were injured. I mean, the roof of the plane was broken in several places where people had went through the
Some
ceiling.
people probably just passed out from the anxiety attack, just by being shocked or startled or in that type of moment where they know that they don't even know if they're gonna die or live. Man, y'all got to get this right.
It was scary and it was violent, and it seemed all of the belongings scattered through the plane.
The LATAM Airlines flight was supposed to make a stop in Auckland before continuing on to Santiago. Instead, the Boeing aircraft was met with a massive emergency response. 4 Australians were transferred to hospital.
Look at this, crazy.
Most passengers reported no turbulence or warning before the nose of the plane started to dive.
Some passengers hit the ceiling, so the airplane was going down faster than free fall or faster than gravity. So that suggests that there was a flight-controlled input to make the aircraft do that, which is unusual.
The incident happened about an hour outside of Auckland over international waters. That means the Chilean authorities are responsible for the investigation. The New Zealand Transport Accident Investigation Commission says it's helping gather evidence, including seizing the cockpit voice and flight data recorders. LATAM Airlines says a technical fault was responsible for the sudden drop.
And the pilot actually showed up at the back of the plane. I approached him and said, "What was that?" And his only response was, I lost control of the airplane. The gauges went blank.
But something went wrong in that flight.
How you lose control? Look, wait. How?
Boeing says it stands ready to assist authorities as another of its aircraft sits out of service, subject to an investigation.
What did that guy say?
Flight data recorders. LATAM Airlines says a technical fault was responsible for the sudden drop.
And the pilot actually showed up at the back of the plane. I approached him and said, "What was that?" And his only response was, I lost control of the airplane. The gauges went blank.
But something went wrong in that flight.
Boeing says it stands ready to assist authorities as another of its aircraft sits out of service, subject to an investigation.
So 1 minute you in control. 1 minute you good. You're flying all this way. 1 minute you're good. And then you just lose control. That's different than having like a mechanical break, like a leak or a bird hit the engines or I don't know. Y'all tell me, man. This is my first time looking at this stuff. So I just, I get the videos, bunch them together, and put it on. And the way you're hearing it is the way I'm hearing it. So I'm hearing it for the first time, too. So my mind I ain't even had time to process. Shit.
BC News.
God damn. I don't know what's going on out here. Make you feel like it's the apocalypse out here or something, y'all. It's weird. It is what it is.
A plane from SFO was forced to make an emergency landing at Los Angeles International Airport for a second day in a row. Flight 821 to Mexico City had 110 people on board. One of the plane's 3 hydraulic
Look, another
systems
one.
failed.
Another one. Another one.
A plane from SFO
It sound like
was forced to
DJ
make
Khaled
an
out
emergency
here.
landing
Another
at Los
one.
Angeles International Airport for a second day in a row. Flight 821 to Mexico City had 110 people on board. One of the plane's 3 hydraulic systems failed. It landed safely just before 4:30. No one was hurt. Passengers were able to catch another flight to Mexico City.
Okay. Sorry. I'll go back for you. I'll go back. But you know something? But you do know something? That it's, I guess it's like the Boeing. I don't know if Boeing is his own company, but if you notice, you know what I'm saying, they're different airlines. Like that was United. The other one was some other Love Timma or whatever. You know, so they different airliners, you know what I'm saying? Like Southwestern, they different airliners names. I don't know how to say it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure y'all can get what I'm talking about.
A plane from SFO was forced to make an emergency landing at Los Angeles International Airport for a second day in a row.
I can't think right now.
Flight 821 to Mexico City had
Crazy.
110
Crazy.
people on board. One of the plane's 3 hydraulic systems failed. It landed safely just before 4:30. No one was hurt. Passengers were able to catch another flight to Mexico City tonight. This was the 4th incident involving a United jet this week. One plane skidded off the runway into the grass in Houston today. The passengers had to be evacuated. A wheel fell off of a plane from above SFO yesterday, damaging cars below. And flames shot from the engine of a plane over Texas on Monday after the engine ingested bubble wrap.
ABC News spoke with John Nance, an aviation expert, to give some context to these events.
Looking at the numbers, we have about 92,000 flights over the world every day. And that's a lot of hardware flying around. And things, I don't want to say are routine. When you lose a wheel, that's certainly not. But these are not seemingly connected. This is really the most safe form of transportation. There's no question about that. The numbers really prove it.
United says these incidents are unrelated, and they are working on repairs. Today's plane was an Airbus.
If I said, y'all, you be the judge. I mean, don't be scared to fly. Don't be scared to fly. But at the same time, it's like Final Destination sometimes. You don't know. You don't know. But you can't be scared. Can't be scared, y'all.
There is word tonight a former Boeing whistleblower who raised safety issues was found dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. A coroner says John Barnett took his own life before his upcoming trial against the company.
This is my retirement plaque.
He retired in 2017 after 30 years. The news comes as fresh details are emerging about that terrifying mid-air drop involving a Boeing plane. CTV's Andy Bergeron-Oliver with the Canadian passenger who experienced the cabin chaos.
Canadian.
The Chilean-owned LATAM Airlines flight was nearing its final destination, Auckland, when it suddenly lost altitude.
Another one.
I was sure it was over. I was like, this is heading down.
Canadian Brian Jocat was on the packed flight and says the drastic drop sent his seatmate flying.
I'm looking at him fully outstretched with his back on the roof of the plane. And then he came crashing down to the floor. It was insane. I thought I was dreaming.
The pilot of the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner reportedly told passengers his gauges temporarily stopped working.
Do something about
the easiest thing to do is to point the finger at Boeing and say it must be your fault, but it may be totally unrelated to Boeing.
But a series of incidents have production standards at Boeing under new scrutiny. Last week, this engine burst into flames. Days later, a wheel fell off during takeoff. And now
the wheel fell off. Hold on, we're going to say that it's not their fault. So what is it, the air fault? I mean, why come it's all Boeings? I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm just saying. So don't be like, I'm being one-sided. But it seems like all you're hearing is Boeings. Is there any other people that make airplanes? Because if there is, you don't hear nothing about them, about their company. I'm just saying.
Authorities have launched a criminal investigation into January's Alaskan Airlines incident after it was determined critical bolts connecting the door to the cabin were left off.
Do you feel like they're making safe airplanes right now?
Right now, with our oversight, we're certifying them as safe, yes.
But a new FAA report on the production of 737 MAX jets viewed by the New York Times raises questions. Boeing reportedly failed 33 of 89 audits. Its partner agency, Spirit Aerosystems, failed another 7 of 13 audits. And in one case, investigators observed mechanics at Spirit using a hotel key card to check a door seal.
Damning report of Boeing. It really shows that, those things that they ought to be doing right, they're still not doing right.
In a memo to staff issued today, Boeing says it is starting weekly compliance checks and equipment audits at its 737 MAX factory in an effort to reduce quality issues. Dozens of those 737 MAX jets, Omar, are operated by Canadian Airlines.
All right, Annie, thank you.
For its part, the FAA listened, and it did find at least some of those concerns were valid. But Boeing allegedly didn't listen. Barnett claimed that his lifelong employer not only didn't listen to him, it punished him. And so he devoted his retirement to an explosive lawsuit that now technically is moot because he's dead. Last week, Barnett was in Charleston, South Carolina for depositions in the case, but he missed an appointment on Saturday and was found dead inside his pickup truck at the Holiday Inn. The authorities say they found a silver hand.
Help me figure this out. I'm not trying to start no conspiracy. But he worked for them people right there on the screen. And he reported that they doing they not following regulations. There's some stuff going on with that company on your screen. So then he ended up having to go to trial in court. Hold on, y'all. Let me get that right quick. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that. But this is live. So it is what it is. So that's how. This what YouTube is about. People making live videos. Giving commentary. Anyway, let's get back to it. So the people on the screen. That's who he worked for. He had to go to court and he had to testify. And when he did, they say that he was at a hotel room. He had talked to the defense people and then talked to the other people or whatever the people in court that he had to talk to. He talked to one side, and you know how they had one side finish, and then the other side questioned him or whatever. So he did that, and all of a sudden, they said he went back to his hotel room, and then he had to go back to court, but he didn't make it. So they say he drove in the car and killed himself. I don't know. All right, but that's what they say happened.
Gun in his lap, finger on the trigger. There was also a note in the passenger seat, but they're not saying what was in that note. Not yet. And it did find at least some of those concerns were valid, but Boeing allegedly didn't listen. Barnett claimed that his lifelong employer not only didn't listen to him, it punished him. And so he devoted his retirement to an explosive lawsuit that now technically is moot because he's dead. Last week, Barnett was in Charleston, South Carolina for depositions in the case, but he missed an appointment on Saturday and was found dead inside his pickup truck at the Holiday Inn.
Oh.
The authorities say they found a silver handgun in his lap, finger on the trigger. There was also a note in the passenger seat, but they're not saying what was in that note. Not yet, anyway. His attorneys say that none
they
of
found they found the gun in his lap and his finger on the trigger, but his head blew off. When if you shoot yourself, blew your head off, wouldn't the gun fall over somewhere else? Let me shut up. Don't. Hey, Boeing, don't bother me. I'm just making a video. I'm just making a video.
Any sense. They say there was no indication that he was in any danger of taking his own life and that they want a full investigation. For its part, Boeing simply says, "We are saddened by Mr. Barnett's passing and our thoughts are with his family and friends." My thoughts can be summed up in one word: forensics. Did he kill himself or did someone kill him and make it look like he took his own life?
Oh, she said it.
Forensics will tell you that story from beyond the grave. And that's why Joseph Scott Morgan is here. He's a certified death investigator, a forensic analyst, and a distinguished scholar of the stuff at Jacksonville State University. Okay, so Joe, if you shoot yourself in the head, your hand and the gunshot residue and the blood spatter and the trajectory, all that will tell the story, won't it?
Yes. Yes, it will. And understand this, the people that investigate suicides, this primarily falls to the coroner, the medical examiner. This is not necessarily a crime. So I find it interesting that the coroner has already stated that this is a self-inflicted gunshot. Unless the police can come up with more evidence that this was in fact something that was done at another's hand, and that's how we defined homicide, death at the hands of another, then they're probably going to go with the conclusions of the coroner. Right now, the police are waiting on that final conclusion.
So there's a letter, they said, that was found in the seat beside him, and they're not releasing any details of that, which I also find unusual, because wouldn't you want to quell any of this internet frenzy by saying the letter was very clear? Help me understand as a death investigator, is it frequent that there's a letter written under duress, a suicide letter written under duress, and can you tell?
Well, let's back up just a second. First off, suicide notes typically are atypical. I think people are surprised by that. You generally do not find a suicide note. When people decide to take their life, they do it in a second most of the time. We in the medical legal community investigate probably at a rate of 2 to 3 suicides for every homicide. Suicides outpace homicides by that factor in this country. So we have a lot of experience at this. But one of the things they're going to be doing, if this was a handwritten note, is that they're going to have exemplars, and this is typical of what we do, to look and see how this compares to his handwriting. Now, as to whether or not there was stress involved in this, if it was something that he was forced to do, that's going to have to take it up to a different level. Probably the FBI would get involved in that.
So what about the hotel parking lot, the Holiday Inn, and then the part that he's in a car in public? I'm trying to sort of place that amongst the norms of people who take their lives. Where does that fit in your, spectrum?
Yeah, well, to be within a vehicle, firstly, most of the time when we think about suicides in cars, we think about carbon monoxide exposure. We have a lot of those.
Yeah.
But no, it is not atypical for someone to take their life in a car. First off, it's an isolated area. Many times the victim will attempt to take their life in a car because they don't want to mess up the house. They don't want to mess up a location. That goes to almost a thoughtfulness on the part of these individuals. If this was a rental car, he could care less about the interior of the car. So the fact that he did it there is not surprising. It's also a fear many people have, I think, of not having their bodies found, that he didn't go off into the woods to do this. I think one of the keys here, though, when they talk about a self-inflicted gunshot wound, is there any evidence that he was shot through the glass? Is there any evidence that someone else could have been in the vehicle? The key here is going to be GSR. I think the deposition of the antimony, the barium, and the lead on his hand when they do this testing.
That's what I thought you were going to say. Not only that, but if the guy came from behind and shot him in the driver's seat, right. That trajectory would be a different angle too. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
The focus for investigators, that terrifying nosedive.
So, there y'all got it. There you go, man. Now y'all know what I know. John, rest in peace, man. It's not a black or white thing. It's none of that going on. Not here at Earth Talk. it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh, boy. So what y'all think? Y'all tell me what y'all think. No, normally I promote my... God, dog, I don't even feel like even doing that. But I got to. Well, I don't. Well, you know what? Anyway, y'all check out if y'all like the songs y'all be hearing in my intros and outros. If y'all like them songs, you can look them up on every platform or whatever. You know, and that's me, Zep Tepi. I am the owner or the person at Earth Talk 777 Studios and Broadcasting. You know, look, man, I don't even want to talk about this no more. This is crazy. So, you hear stories about things like this. You don't, I thought this was going on a long time ago, like in the 80s and the 70s and stuff like this. In the 60s, where you would get whacked for telling on your company and tell the things that was wrong and stuff like that. So, nowadays, I guess it's even worse nowadays. Because people dying over just anything. All y'all had to do was fix the damn airplanes, man. Just fix the damn airplanes. Shit. Push the goddamn button. Where's Andy? Where Andy at?
Hey, what about Andy?
I tell you, he been hiding in the cut. Yo, this joint ready already though. Man, this like playing the game of Clue. Yo. So what y'all know about going hard, living in the boulevards, trying to make ends meet? We getting off the streets, flying high, the sky got no